Please do take a seat. That was a little bit of my passport, just to try to sort of introduce myself before I walk in. Big honor today to actually be able to have a chance to sit among so many people. And, when I say honor, I really mean the words. First of all, congratulations. We're at a full house after 2 years. A big round of applause to everyone. We haven't seen that in a couple of years, so it's a sight to sore eyes. But JK Paper and Times of India bring to you India's most coveted Women's Author Awards. And, when we think about writing, it's such a bone of contention. And I was actually discussing this the last couple of hours. How do we choose what's the best? Then you have all these fantastic ladies that have written so well. You get a jury to agree then. That itself is another award. To make all of them agree on something so subjective, it's really difficult. But they have done a Herculean task. And the entire team that has put this together, I'm sure we can get a stronger round of applause for coming right here. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It's the start of the night. We can peter it down as the night goes on. But yeah, third edition. It's the third edition of the Author Awards. Something that we thought, as far as storytelling was concerned, would we get enough entries? Well, 6,000. 6,000 entries in the last couple of years over 6 categories shows me that everyone is ready, willing, they're ready to go triumphant and win against all the battles. And it's tough. But in this third edition, we've got lots of people that we want to bring on stage here. We've got lots of thank yous to do. And we do not know all the answers. And that's the best part. Normally, award functions, I have the winners list with me. I don't have any winners list with me. That's the best part. So credibility right up there. Love it. But I'd like to invite on stage a lady who's sort of thought of the idea. So, there are many people that will come on stage. You've got a rock that has stood by making sure that this has reached its third edition. This idea has to start somewhere. She's the director for Write India, fronts a movement to identify and launch new writing talent. She's the festival director of the Times Literature Festivals. She's launched several cutting-edge editorial products that specialize in societal trends. Her Sunday column in the Times of India, Ozone, is an ongoing commentary on contemporary living. Her books include the best-selling It's Your Life. Ladies and gentlemen, the literary director of these awards for the inaugural address, I'd like to invite on stage Vinita Davran Nangia. Big round of applause. Good evening, ma'am. All yours. You can use either.
Good evening, everyone. So wonderful to see a packed house. And I must say that we started the Author Awards 3 years ago. And when we started, pandemic was just beginning. We just managed to catch an event. Next year, we were all panicking whether we would be able to do it or not. But I think the signal came from Mr. Singhania's side, let's just do it. So we did it. And this third year, I hope we are bidding goodbye to pandemic this time. So Mr. Prasann Joshi, poet, writer, lyricist, chairperson of the Central Board of Film Certification, and our chief guest for the evening. Mr. Harshpati Singhania, vice chairman and managing director, JK Papers. Our eminent jury for Author Awards, respected publishers, authors, and dear friends in the audience. Welcome to the third edition of the Author Awards, a joint venture between JK Paper and Times of India to celebrate women writers. It is a privilege to be in the presence of eminent women authors who have excelled in their chosen field and those who are here to support them. We are all here because of the struggle and efforts of generations of women before us, and we must pave the path for generations to come after us. I don't know what it is like to be a man, not in this birth at least, but I totally love being a woman. And while I stride the world, defying the worst stereotypes and taking my rightful place in the sun, there are bits of me that rebel in some things you may consider stereotypical womanly stuff. For instance, I love to cook for my family. I love to dress up in all the jingle jangle, the twinkly trinkety stuff. I love red lipstick, tottering heels, saris, and swirling skirts. And yet, I also love driving. I love horse riding, I love parasailing, and I love my drink too. I love a woman's ability to revel in her power as much as the freedom to indulge her weakness. I feel deeply and I love fiercely. I laugh out loud and I cry hot tears. When I'm upset, of course. I'm soft, I'm powerful, I'm physical, I'm spiritual. I deeply inhale the sensuous, intoxicating power of the feminine, but also exhale the power and control traditionally ascribed to the male. Never, ever have I felt apologetic about any aspect of my womanhood or my womanliness. I know I speak for the women in the audience when I utter these words, which are actually from a column that I wrote not long back. We are all empowered women here. Circumstances have conspired to allow us the privilege of being able to stand on our own feet and to be our real selves, of being able to revel in our sheer femininity and yet equally exult in our absolute power too. If a woman is allowed to grow unfettered, exercising her own free will, she is bound to walk in beauty. As Lord Byron famously said, the power a woman carries to nurture, create, and heal endows her with a unique capability and positions her unquestionably as the center of all existence and all change around her. And if such a woman is allowed to tell her own story, those stories cannot but be supremely powerful. Virginia Woolf said, "For most of history, Anonymous was a woman." Well, no more. Today, women walk as tall and bold as any men, marching to their own drummers, singing their own songs, telling their own tales, creating their own triumphs and falls. Why then a special Women Author Award, you would ask? In an ideal world, that would seem a fair point. But we do believe that in the world of publishing and in many other places, women need that extra push to be able to play on an even field. Male-centric narratives and perspectives dominate the literary culture. And the work of male authors is still considered more important than that of women authors. This is evident in the lists of most international awards as well as market statistics, which tell us that though worldwide women read more than men do, women authors mostly attract women readers, while fewer men like to read books written by women. And the bias seeps into the content as well, with male characters in novels being defined by action and their personality, and women by looks and emotions. Though some progress has been made, we are all responsible, sometimes unconsciously, for perpetuating gender stereotypes ingrained in patriarchal societies. It is embarrassing that any author's status should be considered based on gender rather than merit alone. Till that happens, we need to break the bias by being more mindful of and challenging our own thought processes continuously, watching out for unconscious biases. Women must be bold and carve out their own space in all spheres. Own your dreams and meet your true potential by pushing back demands from traditional mindsets. To be bold is not to be aggressive or unfairly demanding. It is a quiet courage to assert your thoughts and actions for a more fulfilled you. Living a full life in all spheres and all the roles that you play. And this is actually the message that I invariably find creeping into the writings of all women. Coming back to our award, this year, ladies and gentlemen, we received more than 1,500 entries for the Author Awards. These were books written in the period December 2020 to November 2021. The entries went through a thorough auditing by Grant Thornton, after which an expert screening committee of diverse backgrounds helped us go through and choose the lot that would reach the judges. A panel of 3 judges for each category, fiction, non-fiction, children's books, and debut, headed by 1 jury chair each, were appointed. We discussed and shared the criteria to be employed, and the judges took upon themselves the daunting task of going through all the books. First, a long list was arrived at for each category, then a short list, and finally, today, the judges are ready to announce the winners. I take this opportunity to sincerely thank Mr. Harshpati Singhania for his keen interest in the process of writing and reading, the publishing industry, and his contribution in instituting this award. And believe me, this is not one of those thank you, just formal thank yous said for the heck of it. I really mean it. Thanks to our judges for their time and expertise, and our team at TOI for their unstinting efforts and planning in executing this amazing event. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Please, do take a seat. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. No, you can take a seat. Yes. Very tepid responses, I must say. Are there nerves as to who is going to win? Can we have a louder round of applause? Yes. I'm already loving this first table, sir. We have the eyes for the people that are responding. There we go. Fill that glass up a little bit more. Maybe I need to open it out a little bit more. I'm going to take back those words about shutting it down. But as Vinita did say that, it requires a lot of support. And in that way, JK Paper has given the utmost support to sort of take this forward. I was very pleasantly surprised. Now that I'm a father of 2 children, whenever I hear children's categories, it's just so exciting because you're sitting with trying to figure out how to teach your children without the television in front of you. It gets really difficult, but my kids love reading. So I was very excited to see the categories there as well. So we're going to come to that later. But right now, the man that she said has always been like a rock to take this forward, the Vice Chairman and Managing Director of JK Paper, the Director of the JK organization. I'd like to call on stage, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Harsh Pati Singhania. Big round of applause. Good evening, sir.
So this was one area where we could have done without the applause. I don't like that, but good evening, everybody. Prasunji, Vinitaji, all the gathered dignitaries, guests, friends, authors, jury members, and all of you who've come here to support this event. Thank you very much for being here. I'm delighted to be here at this season 3. Earlier, we used to call it edition 3. Somehow with television has become seasons, right? So anyway, we'll stick with the script and call it season 3 of this Author Awards Ceremony. And I am also delighted to see so many people, brilliant women authors who are again writing a revolution to make the society more egalitarian. The famous author Diane Marichild once said, "A woman is a full circle. Within her is the power to create, nurture, and transform." But I believe this power many a times goes unnoticed and underappreciated. With JK Paper Author Awards, our aim is to give the platform for women authors to unleash their power and to recognize their achievements. In 3 seasons, as you heard from Vinita ji, Author Awards have grown and garnered over 3,000 entries, and it has given a platform to over 1,200 debutant women authors. I think that is reason enough to celebrate. 1,200 people who are doing this as their first thing. As this platform gains more and more eyeballs, I'm asked the question sometimes, why as a paper company have we embarked on this journey? And the answer is very simple, that at JK Paper, we not only produce paper, but we are deeply involved with this usage and understand how it touches the lives of various people. It's as simple as that. As you all know, mass production of books opened the world of literature to reading as well as to writing. Paper gave the view to the world, and while also giving a canvas to express ideas and thoughts. Today, women use this medium not only to document their reality and craft stories, but also bring about a revolution with their pen as a peaceful yet potent weapon to challenge, reform, and dismantle anachronistic paradigms of society. In this quest, we found a perfect partner in the Times of India, a leading newspaper that has huge respect and readership, a platform that can influence, encourage, and inspire. Vinita ji and all your team, thank you very much for this and all that you did. Also, I have the pleasure of having the former CEO, Managing Director, Mr. Raj Jain here, he was involved with the first and at our request still continues to come here. But I am truly and honestly delighted that all of you are here and that we can do this. I just want to add that it is not just the award function, quite frankly, that we do, but there is a developing ecosystem around it. There is a website for the Author Awards, and we try and do book readings by various people. There are master classes where eminent authors come and teach or talk about certain aspects of how to write on different genres or different styles. And as we go along, we'd like to build this further. So the engagement is actually constant and year-round and is not restricted to a one-off event like this. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to take much more of your time, but I would like to introduce you to our chief guest for tonight, who actually doesn't need much introduction. But as the task has been given to me, I feel honored to welcome the celebrated and loved writer, lyricist, poet, and ad man. Ladies and gentlemen, the ad man is the day job. His real creative job is beyond those hours. And the man of many talents, Sri Prasun Joshi, who is our chief guest. It's an honor to have you, Prasunji, and may I request you to come here on stage and share your thoughts.
Prasun sir, just could you step right in the middle there? And sir, could you also join us right in the middle? We'd like to felicitate Prasun sir. I'd like to call Vinita ma'am back on stage. Ma'am, could you please come back on stage so we can felicitate Prasun sir, and then we'll have his thoughts. Padma awardee as well, ladies and gentlemen. There are very few across the country. A big round of applause for Prasun sir. Few people I feel dwarfed when I'm sitting and talking to them, and he's one of them. Can we have, yes, please come on stage and so we can felicitate Prasun sir. Can I have my lovely hostesses on stage, please? Yes, come. Come. Can we play some music? Yeah, there we go. Much better. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Singhana sir. Can you just take a seat? And Prasun sir, the stage is yours. If you could take a seat, sir. Yes. And you're looking very dapper, sir. You're looking super fit as well. The pandemic has been good to you. Yes, I'll leave the stage to you.
Thank you. So, first of all, thank you for inviting me here. Mr. Singhania, Times of India, Vinita, who has tirelessly worked on this and, kept her calm despite, I feel it's a very difficult process to judge. My friend Namita is here. Judging some creative person's work is not an easy task. I mean, you feel sometimes it's not fair, pass the judgment. And especially when practicing creative people, we are all constantly learning. So I feel humbled when I do any jury work, even, in films or even in advertising, wherever judging passing a judgment on creative work comes, it becomes a difficult task. And I think all the jury members who were with me, Adwaita, Christine, Ravi, all will concur that it's not in an easy task to do that. But anyway, thank you for letting us go through some wonderful work, and I will cherish that. Why is it important to have an event like this? So I have always been source agnostic when it comes to reading. My father was a education officer in Rampur, and there is a famous library there. We all know that there's a great library there. And he was in charge also. So I could get an unfair entry into the library and could browse books. And without knowing any background, I picked up many things, and they influenced me, immensely. But without having any knowledge about what I'm going to go through, you climb up, you pick up a book and start reading that, and you don't know anything much about it. And later on, you learned that, oh, this was a great book. Oh, I read it then. And I felt, why Women Award? I mean, women authors should be separately, if you look at, that I was always so agnostic. But gradually, as you grew up, you realize that there are voices which are underrepresented. And it is not in the interest of humanity that the voices are underrepresented. We have to hear, to build a collective consciousness. We need to build, collectively, contribute together towards it. And because every voice comes with a vantage point. If you look at a river and you ask someone who is swimming against the tide, how is the river? The person will tell you the river is very aggressive. I'm fighting with the waves. मुश्किल है उससे लड़ना, लहरों से लड़ना. And ask someone who is meditating at the river bank. Very calm. River is very calm. The river is the same, but the reality is different. So the vantage point becomes different. It's important that we celebrate different vantage points. And the same reality, it's like putting one shaft to the truth, another shaft of light to the truth, and illuminating it, and keep on illuminating it. Because who knows what the truth is, the ultimate truth is. So I think in the process, अब खुद को सुलझने की जो एक पूरी प्रक्रिया है, that has a lot of contribution which comes from the vantage point of women. And I think it's important till such time, as Vinita clearly said, that we don't have to have a separate award or a platform. I think such events are very, very important. दूसरी जरूरत ये होती है कि बांसुरी की आवाज ढोल के सामने सुनाई नहीं देती. So the murmurs get lost. If you're really interested in listening to the flutist, आपको वो उसको पहाड़ पे ले जाना पड़ेगा. आपको एक माहौल क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा कि आप वो फ्लूट को सुन सके. वरना वो ढोल के शोर में खो जाएगी. And you would not even know that there was a flutist here, because it requires a certain mindset to be able to celebrate, to be able to absorb it, to be able to appreciate the nuances of the flute. And that is the reason, again, you require special efforts. The unconscious bias you were talking about, Vinita, requires conscious attempts, efforts. Because the biases tiptoe into your subconscious. And without knowing, we manifest them. So if you really want to, you can't be conscious all the time. You can't be thinking all the time. You can't be watching yourself all the time. But the constant attempts like this to get into the subconscious, it's important that we make such efforts. Another thing which I wanted to talk about, the readers. I think it's very, very important that, and I was in a music festival and I was talking about Tansen and Kansen. जितने तानसेन चाहिए उतने कानसेन भी चाहिए. जितने writers चाहिए उतने readers चाहिए. हुआ तो कुछ अलग ही है. You have more storytellers than the readers today. Everybody has a story to tell. People are dying to tell their stories. And कहीं ना कहीं आपको एक मंत्रमुग्ध सुनने वाला, पढ़ने वाला बहुत खलती है उसकी कमी. Every writer requires that, needs it. Somewhere, yes, it's a meditative process. Yes, it's a full circle for a writer as well. But at the same time, कहीं ना कहीं एक इच्छा होती है कि आपका सुनने वाला कहाँ है, कि मुझे भी कोई ढूंढ रहा है. एक राइटर को लगता है मुझे भी कोई ढूंढ रहा है. So I think we need to pay a lot of emphasis on seeking. Seeking is going down. And in the world of marketing, where people are writing the marketing plan before they're writing their book. I've heard that. You have a marketing plan, how I will market this book before you have already, you have started writing your book. In that world, we are making the audience very lazy. In advertising, we say consumer is the king, and now we started saying the emperor and all that. So you're dishing out, you're making yourself palatable so much that the audience or reader becoming lazy. It's very important that seeking is there. The pressure, the tension between the writer and the reader. Without tension, there is no music. ढीले तार हो जाएंगे, बजेंगे नहीं वो तार कसे हुए होने चाहिए. और वो तार तभी कसते हैं जब दोनों तरह से उसमें एक प्रेशर create hota hai. This symbiotic relationship between the writer and the reader has to be cherished, and we need to make efforts for that. Because I remember I had written an album many years back, Man Ke Manjeere, dedicated to women, and there are many songs, and I will recite a few for you. A lot of people, friends here, would remember them. I had written a word somewhere कि खोली आंखों की खोली मैंने पाई अपनी बोली. Now I tried to use खोली as verb and खोली as the खोली in Mumbai. So आंखों की एक खोली है, वो मैंने खोली. खोली आंखों की खोली मैंने पाई अपनी बोली. मुझ में ही रहती थी मेरी हमजोली. इस तरह से मैं लिख रहा था. And I forgot that I wrote this and I did experiment with the word kholi in that. And years later, in Jaipur Literature Festival, I was, I think with Guzar Saab there. And a girl asked me, I really like this use. I was so delighted. I don't know how much it got noticed, but for me, it was a great moment. I thought, कहीं मैंने किया है एक्सपेरिमेंट, कहीं खो जाएगा, किसको याद रहने वाला है, लेकिन ऐसा होता नहीं है. Those things, they resonate. And उसके लिए वो seeking से आता है. And that's a delight for the writer. So I cherish that. I would say the challenges today are huge, whether it be a women writer or any writer. The attention span of the human race has declined to 8 seconds, which is the latest research, which is 1 second less than the goldfish. Now, in that era, when you want everything to be reduced, जल्दी बताओ, मुद्दे पे आओ, मोटी बात बताओ, महीन बात के लिए वक्त नहीं है, मोटी बात बताओ. In fact, in the virtual meeting, what has happened in the virtual congregations which we are having, people have become very impatient. I've seen what we are lost there is art of meandering. That's where writing resides. People are in a hurry to say what they have to say. And they are all, एक तो उनकी body language नहीं है. So आंखों से, बात चल रही है, हाथ वाथ तो कहीं दिखते नहीं है, half body है. और जल्दी से, the boredom, the fatigue of seeing one face is faster. So you don't have patience. Physically, you have a lot of patience. This 3-dimensional patience is there, which is missing when you're looking at the screen. You want the person कि मुद्दे की बात पे जल्दी आ जाए. और ये अच्छा sign नहीं है writing के लिए. We have to be, that's the reason it's important. We organize such events. We discuss. We sort of nurture that. It's important you have to realize that. As I said, बांसुरी है तो दूर जाना पड़ेगा, ले जाना पड़ेगा, कोशिश करनी पड़ेगी, वरना होगा नहीं, बचेगा नहीं. Audio visual. I mean, I'm thankful to audiovisual. A lot of my work has reached out to people. A lot of my songs have become popular because of audiovisual. But again, audiovisual is arresting. A book is engaging. Audiovisual को देख के समय आपकी सारी सेंसेस, आपका मुंह खुला हुआ है, आप एक बहुत अच्छे खूबसूरत आदमी नहीं लगते उस वक्त जब ऑडियो विजुअल को आप देखते हैं. किताब पढ़ने वाला खूबसूरत लगता है, बीच में आंखें बंद करता है. ऑडियो विजुअल स्टन्स यू, अरेस्ट्स यू. ये अरेस्टिंग क्या है? मुझे अरेस्ट मत कीजिए, मुझे इंगेज कीजिए. इसलिए किताबों का होना जरूरी है. It's very important that books are not written to be converted in films, which are seeing only target some people have. That's not something which I would say is great for books, because books have a certain culture, code, which is required for us, for a civilization, human civilization. It's an important thing which we earned. Yes, in a spiritual world, मौन की आवाज शायद रह जाए. हम एक दूसरे के मौन को समझने लगे. शायद that is, when Vinita was saying I'm spiritual, I think probably that's the part. Finally, जो कहा नहीं गया वो भी सुन लिया गया. और शब्दों के अवकाश में बीच में जो pauses हैं वहां पर literature है. That is something which we all are sort of go towards, we're going finally towards. But the way reading inculcates that makes us pause. हम किताब पलट के रख देते हैं. That has huge significance. ये लगातार धड़ 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 सारी चीज आपके सामने आ जाए, शायद अच्छी है पर उतनी अच्छी भी नहीं है. दूसरी चीज है, बच्चों के साथ मैं बैठता हूं. हमने जयपुर लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल में गुलजार साहब और मैं एक बार बैठे थे बच्चों के साथ, और बात हो रही थी कि चुड़ैल क्या होती है. ऐसे ही हम बच्चों से बात कर रहे थे. आज सबकी चुड़ैल एक सी है, वो झाड़ू में बैठ के उड़ जाती है. बिकॉज विजुअली इट्स बीन एनिमेटेड. किताब में जब पढ़ते थे हम तो सबकी चुड़ैल अलग अलग होती थी. किसी की कुछ दिखती थी, किसी की कुछ दिखती थी. बट एवरीबडी टुडे हैज सेम सिंबल्स, सेम रेफरेंसेस, एंड दैट रिड्यूसेस the way we develop as a civilization, the imagination of a children, because you have narrowed down the imagination to very few choices. You have illustrated the point too much, too precisely. So I think these are the challenges which the writers have, and I feel Vinita told me about the extension this award, and I also feel, Kishore, that there should be other Indian languages included here. Though I feel no language is sufficient enough to express what we feel. जो हमारे अंदर हो रहा है उसको पूरा पूरा शब्दशः पूरी तरह आप तक पहुंचा देना किसी भी भाषा के बस में नहीं. पर भाषाएं कोशिश करती हैं अपनी अपनी तरह से. Every language tries to, refine itself to reach to the precision that जो मैं हो रहा है महसूस उसको वैसा का वैसा कह दूं. और उसके लिए we use our own experiences. As child, I was in Uttarakhand, Almora, and that area, and I heard so many expressions which were in Pahari language. Now, if I want to access that particular emotion, that word invariably comes to me. I can't help it. It only gets expressed in that language. Then I learned Hindi, then English. And if I have to take that particular word, I give you an example. I wrote a song called "Tu dhoop hai jham se bikhar, tu hai nadiyo bekhabar, ud chal kahin beh chal kahin, teri to manzil hai wahin." Now, ये धूप है. बॉम्बे में कई लोगों ने सोचा ये छम से बिखर है. दिव्या जी, ये छम से बिखर नहीं है, झम से बिखर है. और वो झम शब्द कहां से आया? That came from पहाड़. Because वहां पे जो पहाड़ी में हमने कहती है झम घाम लग रहा हो, मीन्स उसमें एक onomatopoeia, as you see, it's a word sound. एक sound है उसमें धूप के बिखरने का. And whenever I think of sunlight, jham word comes. So I wrote jham. Now there is no replacement for this. I can't find. It's important that language, भाषाएं उदार हों थोड़ी सी. Expansion जरूरी है. आपके पास झम शब्द को समाहित करने के लिए, उसको एक्सेप्ट करने के लिए, उसको embrace करने के लिए, you have to have enough, large-heartedness to let the words come, because how would otherwise that particular expression become part of your vocabulary? So I think expansion of vocabulary is very, very important. As much as I believe that not at the cost of what was there, but in addition. If SMS as a word which comes in the Hindi language, I will embrace it. But अगर वो SMS शब्द आएगा और संदेश की हत्या कर देगा, तो मुझे नहीं acceptable है. Because तो आप छोटे हो रहे, बड़े नहीं हो रहे. Not at the cost of something, but in addition, you have to expand. And that probably is something which will get encouraged if you increase, the participation in languages. You talked about how it is to think like a man is difficult, but I attempted this in my years back in my album, and I would just finish with reciting a few lines from that work of mine. So after this album I finished years back, where our dear singer Shubha Mudgal ji had sung. And I was just beginning to write songs at that time. And she was on those days, these live chats. And you in Times of India used to have this small chat with the celebrity today. In those days, it was very popular that. So she was on that chat. I also logged in. And there's this girl who asked, so who is this mysterious woman who has written these songs? Shubhaji wrote that, I hope Rasoon is there on this and hearing this or listening to and reading this. He's not a woman, he's a man who has written this. I consider this an honor that I was confused that the lady thought. And this is a song she referred to. मैं झील हूं उकता गई हूं, मैं झील हूं उकता गई हूं, अब चाहती हूं बहना बौरा गई. मैं झील हूं उकता गई हूं, अब चाहती हूं बहना बौरा गई हूं. जो भी यहां आता है खामोशियां लाता है, सुलझे हुए लोगों से तंग आ गई हूं. जो भी यहां आता है खामोशियां लाता है, सुलझे हुए लोगों से तंग आ गई हूं. उस रोज एक लड़की मुझको जगा रही थी, उस रोज एक लड़की मुझको जगा रही थी, चुन चुन के गोल पत्थर लहरें बना रही थी. कुछ उंगलियां उठी और खामोश हो गई वो, बल खा रही थी अब मैं गश खा गई हूं. मैं झील हूं उकता गई. इस चांद को तो देखो मुझ में ही झांकता है, इस चांद को तो देखो मुझ में ही झांकता है, अपने लबों को सी के हर रात काटता है. कमबख्त ने कभी भी एक बात तक नहीं की, कमबख्त ने कभी भी एक बात तक नहीं की. धरती की अंजलि में घबरा गई हूं. मैं झील हूं उकता गई हूं. पानी का एक सच है, वो सच है बहते जाना. रस्तों को छोड़ देना, रास्ते नए बनाना. चाहा नहीं था मैंने, मैं रोकी गई हूं. मैं झील हूं उकता गई हूं, मैं चाहती हूं बहना और आ गई हूं. तो ये सॉन्ग मैंने बहुत पहले लिखा था. एंड देयर वाज एक आग्रह था कि मैं बाबुल से फिनिश करूं. This song which I wrote for a little girl who's getting married and has never spoken with the father, and she says, बाबुल जिया मुरा घबराए, बाबुल जिया मुरा घबराए, बिन बोले रहा न जाए, बिन बोले रहा न जाए. बाबुल जिया मुरा घबराए, बाबुल मोरी इतनी अरज सुन लीजो, मोहे सोनार के घर ना दीजो, मोहे सोनार के घर ना दीजो, मोहे जेवर कभी न भाए. बाबुल जिया मुरा घबराए, बाबुल मोरी इतनी अरज सुन लीजो, मोहे राजा घर ना दीजो, मोहे राजा घर ना दीजो, मोहे राज न करना आए, बाबुल जिया मोरा घबराए, बाबुल रे बाबुल मोरी इतनी अरज सुन लीजो, मोहे लोहार के घर दे दीजो, मोहे लोहार के घर दे दीजो, जो मोरी जंजीरें पिघलाए, बाबुल जिया मोरा घबराए. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all the winners and all the people who are going to get mentioned today here. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Prafun sir. I was standing at the back, Harik Shabd, just noting down, and just wonderful, sir. You are such a wonderful orator as well. I think it deserves a big round of applause. Please have a seat, sir. Thank you. कई बार सर जेलसी होती है, इतना टैलेंट आप में जो है सर, और इतने सालों से जो आप इसको उभारते आए हो, सो इट्स वंडरफुल. I have your phone, I think, here. Sir, is this yours? Yes, I'd like to. I would love to peep into the directory there, but maybe later. Right, so we've had, these 2 beautiful years that we've had, and now, of course, in the 3rd year, we thought we'd show you the journey that we've had on these Author Awards. So much that you guys know, but we've got a lovely little thing we would like to show you. Have a look.
It's a celebration of a spirit that believes in putting thoughts to paper and turning them into ideas of change. It's an ode to the courage that never allows the ink to fade away. Courage that speaks straight from the heart. We are saluting a brigade of bright, talented, and thought-provoking women writers whose books are here to pave the path for a thinking tomorrow. Braving all odds, standing up to every challenge, they have not let their words and pen into submission. These are stories waiting to be told, honored and lapped up by the world. Presenting the 3rd Grand Edition of Author Awards 2022, an initiative of JK Paper and the Times of India. The winners have been selected by an esteemed panel of jury with an aim to celebrate women who have redefined the notion of writing. Celebrating women writers who have dared to break the bias.
Yes, and the most important part, getting the jury together. It's going to be my honor to get them on stage. But before that, I'd like to invite on stage Mr. Partha Biswas, Chief Sales and Marketing Officer of JK Paper, and Mr. Ajay Iyer, Senior Vice President of Times of India. Can we have them on stage, please? Because we'll do the felicitations from there on, sir. Right, gentlemen, a nice little smile for the picture. And then, yeah, right in front of you. Our first jury is for the fiction category. And we've got a little AV we'd like to show you. And this one, of course, we've got many jurors in this. We'll play it one by one so that we can have a look.
Prasoon Joshi. Prasoon Joshi is an acclaimed poet, writer, lyricist, screenwriter and communication specialist. An award-winning lyricist, he has also been honored with Padma Shri. Ravi Subramanian. Ravi Subramanian is a best-selling author. A banker by profession, he has written popular thrillers about banking and bankers. Dr. Christine Cornett. A university professor and historian, Dr. Christine Cornett is the author of several books, currently serving as attaché debates, ideas and books at the Embassy of France. Advaita Kala. Advaita Kala is a well-known author, screenwriter and columnist. She has written screenplays of several successful films and has also authored 2 novels.
Well, that's our esteemed jury. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please invite on stage Prasoon Joshi sir, Dr. Christine Cornett, Adwaita Kala. Ravi Subramaniam is not with us. He couldn't be with us. But I'd like to invite all three of you on stage. And a big round of applause. Our first category, fiction, we'd like to just felicitate them. And can we please have the lovely bags that we've got backstage? I see 1 million of them. Can we get them across? There we go. I'm sure we can all afford a little smile. Yes. The girls? Yes, there we go. And we'll all look in front for the camera as well. Are we short of one? No. One little picture, and then, of course, love to hear you all as well. Thank you. There we go. The toughest part has been, I think, putting together a jury. Oh, okay. Right. Okay. We all have the papers right there. But it's always the toughest part for the jury to get it not just right. There's no right or wrong, just to, sort of agree. And there's a process of filtration. How's it been for you? Was it tough? Tougher than you thought? Let's put it this way.
Yeah, it was very tough because we have to read 18 books and excellent writers. So it was really a challenge for me. And first of all, I would like to warmly thank Smita, Vinita, and all GK teams and Times of India team for inviting me as a jury member. 3 years ago, I was invited here as a guest, but then the COVID arrived. Yes. So, and I was really impressed by the ceremony, but the quality and the colorful of the ceremony and the quality of writers. So it's really today and tonight an honor I didn't know 3 years ago that I will become a jury member for the fiction selection. So I'm very delighted to be a jury member. And I would like to say some words about the prize, because this author prize gives a great platform for the women writers. And this is really amazing, and it's unique. And I would like just to mention the story of the Femina Prize, the Women Prize in France, Prix Femina. You speak in English, so I can speak in French a few words. Prix Femina. And the Prix Femina Prize, was established in 1904. Do you know why? Because it was against the Goncourt Prize, the best French literary prize. Why? Because it was against men. And it was a group of 22 writers for La Vie Nouvelle. It was a magazine. And they decided to create this prize, Femina Prize. But the difference with the author prize is that the winners are men and women, but the jury members are only female jury members.
Brilliant.
So I wanted to mention that.
Excellent.
And just to finish, I would like to quote Simone de Beauvoir. On ne naît pas femme, on le devient. In English is, one is not born, but rather becomes a woman. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's an eye-opener for, I think, everyone, as we realize over the years how much was so normalized and it wasn't right. And now I think that it's been an opening for all of us in the last 4 or 5 years. We've suddenly discovered the truth, which is great, because there's always many sides to it. Ma'am, we'd love to hear your thoughts. How tough? I know that, being a jury member, you don't want to be a monitor or a teacher, but still, you've got to still sift through it, and there will be a winner. And unfortunately, there will be others who won't win. I never call them losers, but they won't win. So Does your, when you're pulling your strings, does it hurt when you are having to segregate?
It does indeed, because it was a long process. It was a process wherein we had to read a lot of the books cover to cover. And I think, frankly, I think I read the finest fiction of the last year. So I feel very fortunate.
That's high
to
praise
have
there for all the
been
writers. A big round of applause.
on this jury, and without looking at it from a gendered lens, I think it was just terrific. The quality, the kind of storytelling, the narratives, the commitment, really. I mean, some of these books were so deeply researched that I knew just by reading them that the author had taken years of study and research before they actually put pen to paper. So I think it was just terrific. And as a writer, as a working writer, still, I think it's so inspiring to be part of these juries, because it gets you going and you think that, wow, I want to add to that body of work. So I really want to thank Vinita and her team for their wonderful organizational skills, for being so patient with us as we discussed and went back and forth with our choices, because we did debate our choices. It wasn't
Closed
that
room?
easy, and
Was it in a closed room, or was it in
well, it was-
separate rooms?
online, but we had
because
our
of COVID,
Zoom
yeah.
meetings and things of that sort, and we have a very active WhatsApp group. So we did do that, and really, I mean, it's been tremendous. Also, thank you to the sponsors of the evening, JK Paper. I always think of you as that all those blank sheets and red wrapping that sit on my desk waiting to be printed on. So this is a good reminder that we need to get back to work and tell more stories. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. And Prasoon sir, some parting words.
No, first of all, Christine and Adwaita, thank you for, doing the great, rigorous the work and the process. It's not an easy task, especially because everybody is great, and that when you come to judging, it becomes very difficult. And yes, but everybody has their own choices, and I feel more enriched, more enlightened after the discussions we had. You feel, you learned a lot. Jury process is a learning process. As a writer yourself, you learn a lot, during that process. I also felt that a lot of women are writing about issues other than women issues, which is also something which I felt was many other, writing has got more broad base, and many more issues which you earlier never heard women talking about are coming out. Which is very encouraging. As I said, it has to finally become agnostic, women or men, and we need to wait for that world to happen. So I think it was a fabulous experience, and I will cherish it. Thank you.
Aggressive disagreements or no? Was this all very bonhomie and family?
Writers are fundamentally gentle people.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Gentlemen and ladies, please do take a seat. Gentlemen, I need you all to stay on stage. Yes. Yes. Thank you. On stage for the jury for the non-fiction category as well, I'd like to play out the AV, and then of course we'd like to call them on stage.
Rajiv Dogra. Rajiv Dogra is a leading strategic affairs expert who has worked as Consul General in Karachi, Ambassador to Romania and Italy. He has authored several books. Swapna Little. Swapna Little is an author and a historian with a specialization in the history of Delhi, known for bringing alive culture, history and heritage in the pages of her books.
I'd like to welcome them on stage, Ambassador Rajiv Dogra and Swapna Little. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. Good evening, sir. Could we get a nice picture up? Yes. And all four of you all in every frame. It's wonderful. And just a few words, ma'am, the mic's right behind you. It probably will be similar to most jury members, but how easy or frustrating maybe choosing the right piece?
the most challenging thing is to read a large number of books in a fairly short period of time. So I think that was the most challenging part. Otherwise, it's great fun. It's great fun because you get to read, I think, a range of things that you may not otherwise read, I suppose, because this is something that is picked or it's representative of a large range, which may be beyond your usual interests. So that was the fun part. Yes, deciding is always difficult. I must thank Mr. Rajiv Dogra for having made this such a pleasant task. He was so considerate, such a great chair for this jury. So thank you so much. And this has been a great experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Rajiv, sir, your favorite spot to read these books? You know how they say writers, the cliche, sitting in front on a beach and maybe, watching the water come in. When you're reading, you have to read so much. Were you choosing like the parameters of the house? Where do you want to sit and finish off a book? Was there like a agenda that we would like to hear about? Where were you reading the most in the house?
Isn't agenda the most favorite word these days? Well, favorite spots can vary. If we widen the definition, when I was sitting there, I was reading this. It is amazing. And if you have 2 minutes.
Of course, sir, please.
Normally, when I'm on television, I always have to tell the anchor, just 10 seconds more than I talk on for 2 minutes. So 2 minutes is
No, you can take 6 minutes, not a problem. We've got lots of time.
Well, let me tell you a story. When I was on my first posting abroad, it was in Sweden, and for some reason, the chairman of the Nobel Literature Committee, Arthur Lundquist, who's probably resting somewhere up, became a great friend of mine. He and his wife, Maria Vine, who's a poetess. This is early 70s or mid 70s. So one day I asked him, how do you judge books? He gave me an answer which I can only tell to Advaita in our ears, but I have had this thought with me of what he revealed to me as to how books are judged. Then years later, when I was posted in London, there was another remarkable man, one of the finest crafters of the language in UK, Ian Jack. He was the chair of the Booker Committee. I asked him, how do you read all these books? So he surprised me by his answer. He said, Rajiv, tell me, is fiction dead? Is novel dead? So I told him, look, I'm asking you, how do you read these books? So he said, look, we get a whole lot of books to read, and it is impossible for anyone to read everything in that short a period. So some we read the first 30 pages, the others we read the other 30 pages. But the ones which strike us, we read the entire lot, from page 1 to the last page. Prasoon mentioned that, again in the same vein that novel is dead, that the reading habit is gone. I would differ. If reading habit was gone, this wouldn't be there. My grandchildren, 11 and 9, they have to be torn away from books. So it depends on the elders. Do you give them the mobile at the age of 5 and let them be away from the books? Or do you make sure that they fall in love with the books and mobile and internet and Twitter can wait? But my favorite corner is the one in the house where my wife can't see me or get to me. And my favorite time for reading or writing more particularly, not so much reading, is 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. Are you sleeping at that time or waking up at that time? That's what we'll
Once upon a time when I was your age,
right,
and after a long, long night, I would go to sleep at 4 o'clock. These days I wake up.
Evolution, sir. Thank you so much. Ma'am, thank you, and thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Gentlemen, you have a longish 10 minutes with us. We need you on stage. Right, so we move on to the next category, which is the debut category. Can we have the AV, please?
Debut. Arunava Sinha. Arunava Sinha is one of the best known and among the most acclaimed translators in India. Over 50 of his translations have been published so far. Dr. Saba Bashir. Saba Mahmood Bashir is a poet, author and a translator. She has written several books and works as the professor of English literature in Jamia Millia Islamia University. Ravinder Singh. Ravinder Singh is a well-known best-selling author, considered the king of romance. He has sold more than 3.5 million copies of his novels.
Yes, and we'd like to call them on stage, Ravinder Singh and Dr. Bashir. Of course, Arunava, it could not be with us because of prior commitments. But ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our two esteemed jury members that are joining us on stage. We take a quick photo op and then the mic is all yours. Thank you. The King of Romance. I like that name. I like the inverted commas. It sort of helps it out also. Does that put like pressure on you otherwise also to sort of live up to that name? You just switch that up a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, working. Okay, hang on one sec.
Yeah, it's now.
Okay.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes.
That's just a marketing tactic to sell more books.
It's working.
Yeah. It just
It has
works.
worked.
It works. When I was just walking in, a friend of mine happened to ask me, "तू यहाँ क्या कर रहा है? ये author award है." I told मेरा appraisal हो गया, मैं jury में हूँ. So, judging debut novels, I went back to my time when I was a debut novelist. I'm not going to tell you and bore people how was the process because I will say sabne acha likha hai, bada difficult. I'll tell you the reality of this to those who are going to win the awards and those who are not going to win the awards. To those who are going to win the awards, do not let this award get into your head. This reason I'm saying is because you're a debut novelist. None of the publishers in this house today had accepted my work when I was a debut novelist. तो बिल्कुल फुटपाथ से शुरुआत की थी. सीपी के छोटे छोटे जो किताबें बेचते थे उनसे जाके पूछा था कि यार मेरी किताब रखोगे क्योंकि सबने रिजेक्ट कर दिया तो मैं सेल्फ पब्लिश करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं. The award is not going to sell more than 100 copies. This is the reality. I don't want to discourage anybody. The real struggle is outside. ये सब हम बातें कर रहे हैं, कल भूल जाएंगे. हम बोल रहे हैं कि रीडर्स चाहिए. ये हकीकत की बात कर रहा हूं. I was working in IT, quit everything for the love of writing, and this is the real thing. We will talk about awards in our resumes and LinkedIn profiles and Instagram, etc., and that still may not sell books. The real struggle is the day your book becomes a word of mouth. When somebody says, "तूने वो वाली किताब पढ़ी है?" That day you will win the award, and keep just this one thing in your mind. That's about it. Thank you.
Well said, well said.
After what he said, I really don't know what to add. Getting back to the award, of course, as the jury members, we got to read the books which otherwise we wouldn't have read. You know, you get an exposure, and all of the books were absolutely fantastic. Arunava couldn't make it. He was a fantastic chair, and we did have a smooth sailing.
Yeah, we did.
But I have to add some masala to this. It's a debut novel. Are you harsher? It's like cricket. The first day a boy comes to, or even the batswomen these days, when they're on their debut, everyone is like jumping on them a little bit more. Are you more lenient or harsh?
To be honest, Sahil, we didn't even realize that it was a debut. They were so well written.
Kudos to all the debut writers. Well done. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right, moving on to the next category. Can we have the AV for that, please?
Children's. Jerry Pinto. Jerry is a well-known Indian English poet, novelist, short story writer, translator, as well as journalist. He has been nominated for and won several national and international awards. Amrita Raichand, a popular TV anchor, actress and model. Amrita Raichand is known for her cooking show, Mummy Ka Magic. Sujata Noronha, an educator with a specialization in early literacy. Sujata Noronha runs a not-for-profit organization called Bookworm.
It's a solo show. Jerry, sir, can we have you on stage? Both Amrita and Sujata couldn't join us because of prior commitments, but a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The children's category, the chair, Jerry Pinto. Sir, what? Right. Actions speak louder than words there. Thank you so much, Ajay sir and Partha sir. Thank you very much for joining us on stage. That was really fast. I have to actually now call a lady on stage who I've watched over the years in awe with her performance, with her power, with her choice. And every time, we think about performers, this name is right up in the list. In these 2 years of COVID, I don't think anyone's done more work than she has. And the reason I know it is because I think I met her 20 times for interviews online. So I'm super excited to actually call one of the finest performers that we have on stage. We were discussing over there the number of awards that she has. It reaches right up to the nationals. It's fantastic. Divya Datta, ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause. We'd like to call her on stage. And we'd like to call Avinita ma'am on stage as well to felicitate Divya Datta for this very special recognition that we want to do. Yes. And Singhana sir, you as well, sir, please. Yes.
Divya Datta is one of the most prolific actors in Hindi cinema. She has established herself. Movies like Veer Zara, Stanley Ka Dabba, Gippy, and Bhag Milkha Bhag. Divya was awarded the National Film Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in the social drama Irada in 2017. Divya's book, The Stars in My Sky, is a sensitive and intimate account of the interactions and learnings she's had while working in the Indian film industry. This book gives heartwarming profiles of all those who have contributed in making her illustrious career what it is today.
The mic's right behind. I'll just take it while we've got a little special prize and special recognition for you. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got some more goodies for you. Divya, do stay back on stage. I just want to chat with you as well. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, ma'am. Yes, there you are. So much to talk with you, Divya. There's so much that you do all the time. Prasoon sir is a tough act to follow. And if there's somebody who can follow in his footsteps in a very easy way, it's you. We've interacted so many times over the years. This Author Awards, I know that, sometimes people say that, are we talking too much about this her word? I say for too many years, we've not spoken enough. Yeah. I come from a family of 4 women. I have a daughter. My son feels left out and I feel left out now. I love it. So, just the general perception that you've always had to fight, being one of the strongest performers, yet you've had to hold your place and fight for space as well in the film industry as well. We'd love to hear that.
I'd love to tell you about it. A very good evening, everyone. And first of all, a huge thank you for this amazing award. This really means a lot. I would really like to thank Vinita, Mr. Singhania, JK Papers, and TOI, and Prasunji. Thank you so much. Prasunji ke saath maine shuruaat ki thi with my ads. His was the first ad that I had done. And then I do remember that first phone call he had made to me after he watched Bhag Milkha Bhag. And that was his first phone call to me ever.
Wow.
So, and he said something really beautiful, which still is very close to my heart. So I was just telling him, I said, he's a man of such amazing words, but he understands silences so beautifully. So as I entered that place, he said, isko bahut award mile hain, lekin ye wala bahut khas hoga iske liye. So it is so true, Prasunji. This award is so special because this is a new field for me. This is something I'm so enjoying, and expressing myself in words is amazing. And to be acknowledged for that and to be appreciated for that, I think is really lovely.
You know, Divya, a lot of people say that ideas har kisi ke paas hote hain, you know.
Yeah.
When you go to these big production houses also, that one line idea everybody has. When you start to make a script, you realize when these films come out or, you know, plays come out, you realize bahut kuch kacha reh gaya beech mein. Writing is very difficult, you know, and I'm so glad that script writers and lyrics writers now getting their due as well, authors getting their due all over the industry as well. How difficult is it for performers, you know, who are used to using so many tools to actually put pen down on paper in a simple spot? Is it tough, you know, to get into the writing process?
I wouldn't know about others. There's such amazing writers sitting all here. Hi, Ravinder. Such amazing writers sitting here. But I actually just follow my acting process. I go with the flow. I write from the heart. There's no planning happening. I just sit. Whatever flows, I think, is the most honest, the most genuine that comes out. And there's so much to say. Yeah. There is so much to say, and it flows like a story. And I think the power of subconscious just amazes me. You don't know what all is in store out there. It just comes out and tells you, hey, me too, write about me too. So all these things have been coming up, and I think this is my second book. The first was Me and Ma. And my editor is here, Vaishali Mathur. I really want to thank her for the support she's always given. So this, I think, pandemic, everyone asks me, ki tum pandemic mein bahut likha hoga. So I wrote nothing. I was mind fogged because we work under deadlines. So jab deadline hoti, so when I started shooting is when I started writing. Beautifully, it just flowed. But otherwise, I just couldn't. And the most amazing part of this book for me was when I wrote everyone's chapters and I sent it to everyone who it was on, their responses, their reactions. I think this book is about just gratitude to the people you meet alongside your journey, and who just bring you a smile. You just have to kind of acknowledge that. So just getting those feelings reciprocated, I think for me, people I have watched through my childhood up on the screen, people I have looked up to, people I've idolized, people I have just loved, writing about them and then sharing their chapters with them, I think was an experience I will always cherish. And to bring it here on this platform and to get acknowledged, I must say, really means a lot. So yes.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Divya, for joining us.
Thank you.
And for gracing the occasion. Really, always such a pleasure. You're so classy. We're just so excited always to have you with us. Thank you.
Shukriya, and good luck for the lovely evening.
I'll help you with that. I'll take it. Divya Datta, ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause. If we start filling the glasses of wine, these oys will start increasing in about 15 minutes. But the time that we've all been sort of waiting for, you know, the judging, the jury, the time spent reading all the books has happened. And I want to now come to the very first category, which is the best author fiction. Before that, on stage, I would like to invite our chief guest, Prasun Joshi Saab, and Mr. Singhania back on stage. So may we start with the announcements of the Author Awards for Women Authors by JK Paper and TOI. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we are waiting for. Let's put all the stops out with the claps. Yes, there we go. So the first category in Best Author Fiction. Can we have the nominations, please?
The nominations for the Best Author Fiction are Meera Rajagopalan for her book The Eminently Forgettable Life of Mrs. Pankajam, publisher Hatchet India. A witty and touching tale about a declining mind trying to make sense of an ever-changing world. Meera's finely crafted novel is one that challenges the reader to confront long-held beliefs and make amends while it is still possible. Chitra Banerjee Devakaruni for her book The Last Queen, publisher HarperCollins. An exquisite love story of a king and a commoner, a cautionary tale about loyalty and betrayal, and a powerful parable of the indestructible bond between mother and child. Chitra's unforgettable novel brings alive one of the most fearless women of the 19th century, Rani Jindal. Namita Gokhale for her book The Blind Matriarch.
All nominations, ladies and gentlemen.
Penguin
Choose your...
Random House India.
Yes.
Ebbing and
We'll have
flowing
pockets
like
that
the
will be
waves
clapping.
of a pandemic, the novel is a clear-eyed chronicle of the tragedies of India's encounter with the coronavirus, the cynicism and despair that accompanied it, and the resilience and strength of the human spirit. Manpreet Sodhi Someshwar for her book Lahore, The Partition Trilogy Book 1, publisher HarperCollins. Set in parallel threads in Lahore and Delhi, the novel is a behind-the-scenes look into the negotiations and the political trickery that gave India its freedom, paying the price with the partition.
Right, so our nominations done. We'd like to invite all the nominees. We want to add some drama to it. So can we have all the nominees on stage, please? Before we sort of open like the envelope there. Can we have all the nominees on stage? And a big round of applause for all the nominees. Like I said, we're adding some drama to it. It'll be fun. There we are. So, yes, right here in the center. Are we being joined? Right. So you've got the envelope. It's up to you.
It's Chitra Banerjee for The Last Queen.
We can do better than that. This is our first winner for the night. Ma'am, please stay on stage. There's a reason we've called you up on stage as well. Can we get the awards, please, on stage? Yes, yes, come, please. Yes. Ma'am, no. We want to felicitate you as well. And can we get like, yes, can we get the runners-up or in such words so as to say, can we get like that as well, please? Right. And just wait a minute, ma'am. We'll come to you as well. No, Chitra, ma'am, just a minute. Wait, I want to chat. Yeah. We got. My girls want the consolation prizes for themselves or what? Come. There we go. Yeah. Yes, please. Ma'am, this is for you as well. We've got categories for every. Prashwan, sir? Yes. We'll have both the nominees on stage. No, ma'am, just on the side. So we'll have you on this side. Ma'am, we'll have you on that side. And then we'll just, yes. There we go. It's like a game of chess on stage. Ma'am, just a couple of words. You know, I know reaching out there has been such a tough task. Can we shut the music, please? Thank you. And the jury themselves has been at arms with each other. Just writing the process of this book, we would love to hear.
Yes, well, thank you so much, JK Paper, for making this possible. Also, Times of India. This is a wonderful award. I think it's a great initiative also. I'd like to thank, I've thanked everybody in my book, but just for this award, I'd like to thank my publisher and my agent, Kanishka, who has been really supportive. Also, people back home in Chennai. I know they're all rooting for me. So thank you all very much indeed. I also would like to just say that for every voice that is heard here, there are thousands more women whose voice is not really heard. I think this award can be a really good platform for us to create that ecosystem, right? I think like the festival director said, we are all in some ways privileged as well. So if it's possible for us to create that ecosystem where everybody's voice is heard somehow, every woman's voice, where we write about ourselves, women not like ourselves, about men, about nature, about God, whatever the heck we want to write about, right? If we can create that ecosystem, I think that's what this the ultimate goal of this initiative will be. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, this is, yes. We've got goodies all throughout. Yes, thank you, ma'am. We've got a little AV for you. No. Don't be in such a rush to leave. Don't be in such a rush. Please, we've got a little AV that we want to play for you. Can we please? Yes, just a minute, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you.
I am so honored and delighted at having received the Best Fiction Author Award today for my novel, The Last Queen. I would like to thank all the judges and organizers, and especially JK Paper and Times of India, for having this beautiful award available to inspire us writers to write better. It is especially wonderful having an award that focuses on women writers and realizes the importance of their contribution in the field of literature. Thank you again so very much. Although I'm not able to be there in person because I'm on a different continent right now, I'm with all of you in my heart.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Right. We're going to move on to the next category. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the next category. Can we have the next AV out, please? Can we play the next AV out for the next category, please?
The nominations for the Best Author Non-Fiction are Pallavi Iyer for her book Orienting an Indian in Japan, publisher HarperCollins. Steering through the many adventures that come from learning a new language, imbibing new cultural etiquette, and asking difficult questions about race, Pallavi explores why Japan and India find it hard to work together despite sharing a long civilizational history. Kumi Kapoor for her book The Tatars, Freddie Mercury and Other Babas, publisher Westland Books. In this engaging, accessible, intimate history of the Parsis, Kumi Kapoor, herself a Parsi, pours through the names, stories, achievements, and the continuing success of this tiny but extraordinary minority. Shrayana Bhattacharya for her book Desperately Seeking Shahrukh, publisher HarperCollins. In this path-breaking work, Shrayana maps the economic and personal trajectories of a diverse group of women. Divided by class but united in fandom, they remain steadfast in their search for intimacy, independence, and fun.
Right, gentlemen, can we have you back on stage to present this award as well? I've got these chairs for you. I would like you to actually sit right there while all right. And can we have the nominees on stage, please? All the nominees. Can we have you all on stage? And y'all can do a little better than that. All these nominees, one of them is going to finally win. When I say all, I always wind up with only one on stage. Do I see more at the back or there's too much wine? All right, we'll stick to all. Right, sir, the honors.
All right, so the best author, the non-fiction category, the winner is Shrayana Bhattacharya, Desperately Seeking Shah Rukh Khan, Congratulations. Congratulations.
It wasn't planned like that, yeah? Trust me on this. We've been talking about the integrity of it. Lots of people to thank, I'm sure. And you've got one of India's most loved stars in that name. That's more than enough. So you should thank him as well. So yeah, go ahead.
Actually, thank you. I want to start by thanking, well, 15 years ago, I had an idea that I was going to tell this story of how women lived in post-economic liberalization India after the reforms of the 1990s. And the madness in the idea was I decided I was going to combine statistics, economic theory, longitudinal research, sociological over 10 years, and also Shah Rukh Khan. And I actually have to thank a few people who are sitting there who had faith in this madness. Udayan Mitra and Anand Padmanabhan and Amrita Mukherjee at HarperCollins. Shaugat Dasgupta, who is my editor. I think without the book just wouldn't exist. All the women, the book relies on around 120 interviews. The book is not my writing. I think it's a lot of their voices. So I want to just thank them. And last, I have two people to thank. One, a gentleman I do not know, but I really hope to know, and that is the actor Shah Rukh Khan, because had it not been for his power, the power of his icon, these stories just wouldn't exist. The stories about women's experiences of the economy through a film star wouldn't exist. And the second person I would like to thank, who I've actually grown to know very close and grown very close to over the past few years of the final piece of the book, is Shruti Devi. She's apparently my agent, but she's very much my guide, my PhD guide on this book. It wouldn't exist without her. And I just want to thank, obviously, family, professors, everyone who's indulged this madness. And thank you so much for this honor, sir. And thank you so much to the jury. It obviously means a lot. Thank you.
I can help you out with the Shah Rukh Khan part. The IPL starts tomorrow. You don't have to. It's all in Bombay. He'll be at Wankhede. Tomorrow's the first match, CSK KKR. Take a flight tonight. You might just get lucky. Yeah.
In fact, the point of writing the book is it's not about him, it's about what people think of him. And I think you don't ever want your ideas being contaminated by reality, right? So.
Point taken, ma'am, point taken. Thank you very much. Do you need any help? Yes, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Will some boy be chivalrous enough? There we go. Thank you. Yes. Gentlemen, do stay on stage. Yes. Can we have the next category, please? And play the AV.
The nominations for the Best Author debut are Rijula Das for her book A Death in Sonagachi, publisher Pan Macmillan India. Set in Calcutta's most fabled neighborhood, A Death in Sonagachi is a literary noir as gritty and devastating as it is wary and tender, laying bare the ruthlessness that preys upon our society's outcasts and the impediments to dignity and love. Urmi Bhattacharya for her book After I Was Raped, publisher Pan Macmillan India. Through extensive interviews, Urmi reveals the stories of survivors of sexual violence. Through extensive interviews, Urmi reveals the stories of survivors of sexual violence as they recount how their lives and relationships have changed in the aftermath of their assault. Farah Bashir for her book Rumours of Spring, A Girlhood in Kashmir, publisher HarperCollins. Rumours of Spring is the unforgettable account of Farah's adolescence spent in Srinagar in the 1990s. As Indian troops and militants battle across the cityscape with haunting simplicity, Farah captures moments of vitality and resilience from her girlhood amidst the increasing trauma and turmoil of passing years. Yashaswini Chandra for her book The Tale of the Horse, publisher Pan Macmillan India. This is inspired and singularly erudite debut. Yashaswini Chandra takes us on the trail of the horse into and within India. What is most remarkable is that the history of the horse in India, mirroring that of its human inhabitants, is a tale of migration and permanent intermingling.
Should I dare to call all the nominees on stage? Can I be so? I would like to call everybody on stage. Yes? Come on, let's be sporting. Can we have all the nominees? If they're all here, can we have them on stage? And let's all be sporting and give a round of applause. You know not everyone's going to win, so sometimes you say, not too sure. Right, sir. And can I get another mic?
The award goes to Farah Bashir.
Thank you for coming on stage, guys. Thank you. Come on, let's be more. There we go. Thank you. And since my nominees have been sweet enough to come on stage, yes, we've got these for you as well. Yes, please. Thank you. Just a couple of words. Yeah, I think the whole setup of this also, I know now that I'm here, I should have probably done this before and taken 3 words from you before, but just being part of this entire setup.
I'm just really glad we've got 3 nominees here this time instead of 1. That's it. But yeah, I think we're all really, really glad to be here. I think we speak for all of us, and I'm so glad that there is an award like this. Yeah.
Many more auditions to come, so don't worry about that. And
Right.
we've decided it's not going to be only one winner for 1 year.
Yeah.
Multiple choice over the
Right.
years.
That sounds perfect.
Perfect. Couple of words as well.
No, I just wanted to congratulate Farah, and I was delighted to be nominated with all these fantastic women authors. And yeah, this is a fantastic prize because it really encourages women authors. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being so gracious. Please take a seat. I love the look of little surprise on your face when you did win. Would love to hear your thoughts.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks, judges. Thanks. A huge thank you to Anand Padmanabhan for believing in the title of this book when I all had was just the title. And I think he believed in the story as much as I did. It's a bittersweet feeling right now because, so much has been written on Kashmir and gets, written on Kashmir. And everyone used to tell me, what's the new thing you're going to talk about? And I would be like, but the story of how I grew up. I was 12 when the conflict sort of erupted. And I was like, I haven't read those stories. I haven't read how girls grow up in conflict zones. And I have to tell my story. It took me 10 long years to write about it. When I was finally writing, I used to get panic attacks and sleep. But then I was like, I have hit the rock bottom. I have to continue with it. And I really thank everyone who sort of kept me going on this path. And my parents, well, in Kashmir, everyone wants to tell their stories. And then I hadn't confided in a lot of people. So I told very few close friends. And I really thank Shohini. I thank Uday. And Shohini she's a quiet editor, but an immense pillar of strength. Without her, this book wouldn't have, it was very overwhelming for me to write these stories. It's not just a story about me, but about 14 other girls and women, one of whom actually died by suicide because of the way they could cope or not cope with war. So she was there, sometimes there was one chapter which I couldn't write till the end. I was like, it was about the killing of my cousin. And she was there and she was like literally offering that kind of support that you need to write those stories, So it's just other than being nominated alongside very powerful books. I think it's finally that young 12, 13-year-old who gets who is seen, who is heard. I think this is really for her. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Farah.
Thank you.
Congratulations on a great start.
I'll just pass down to myself.
And may you continue this start for many years to come. I'm pretty sure it's not going to go to your head. Can we have my knight in shining armor, please? There we go. Here he is. All right. Okay, moving on to the next category, the children's category. Can we have that AV, please?
The nominations for the Best Author Children are Shabnam Minwala for her book Murder at Daisy Apartment. Publisher Speaking Tiger Books. A crime thriller set in Mumbai during the lockdown. The book centers on Nandini Venkat, a 15-year-old resident of the Daisy Apartments who witnesses a pair of legs climbing up and down the stairs the night the chairperson is found poisoned in his own home. Paru Anand for her book Unmasked. Publisher Penguin Random House India. From a mother and son looking to make ends meet as the lockdown brutally affects their lives, to a housewife who's a victim of domestic abuse, from young keyboard wizards keen on making a difference to a home delivery executive who becomes an unlikely hero. This book unmasks the layers of the year 2020 that changed us all. Devika Karyapa for her book Uncle Nehru, Please Send an Elephant. Publisher Tulika Publishers. One day when Pandit Nehru opened his overstuffed mailbag, out tumbled hundreds of colorfully decorated letters from children in Japan. We have never seen a live elephant, they said. Could you kindly send us one from India? This exuberant picture book takes readers across land and sea to tell how Indira, Ambika, Murugan and others became India's big gifts to the world. Dr. Devika Rangachari for her book Queen of Fire. This is gripping novel. Devika brings to vivid life the interior life of this 19th century Queen Lakshmi Bai, thrust into a position she does not desire but must assume, and of her son, who is cowed by the challenges he has to face, but determined to live up to his mother's courage. Shweta Taneja for her book They Made What? They Found What? Publisher Hatchet, India. Shweta's book They Made What? They Found What? is a fun flip book which takes us to the fascinating world of science, scientists, and their inventions.
It had an army of nominations, so I would like to call all of the nominees on stage if they can. Will you be speaking, sir?
Shabnam is there. This is the thing about children's writers. They show up. Come on, ladies. Yeah, all of them are here. How cool is that? And this, despite the fact that no newspaper ever reviews children's literature. There's not one place where regularly these great books have been reviewed. Shame on you, newspapers and magazines, because you are not growing your future readers. These children who are reading books today will be the readers of your newspapers tomorrow. And if you ignore the beautiful works that these women have been producing, you are killing the possibility of your own survival. So, hey, start reviewing children's books now. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. You saved it. Yeah. Okay, and every one of these books that we read, okay, everyone talked about how difficult it was to read. Hey, it was a trip. I went back to my childhood. I read fast. I read on the toilet. I looked at books in the morning. I looked at books in the night. I skipped around with the books. I enjoyed the heck out of all of your books. And I want to thank you all specially and give you each one a big hug. Yeah? For taking me back to my childhood 5 times over. Yeah? Okay.
Thank you for being such an enthusiastic jury member and the chair of doing all this. This is what they look for. You know, when you make any kind of art, you want to be appreciated. So big round of applause for him for appreciating this. This is the spirit that all the writers need. But there is
And
now
also
yes.
parents, if you're a parent, don't you bloody buy white people's books. Don't you bloody stop at Harry Potter. Don't you bloody be racist and think that if the person's name is Kariyappa or Minwala, they can't write English good enough for your children. And don't you stop at the Jatak and the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. Buy them all the same. But buy these great books as well for your children.
Julia Donaldson has gone into the trash
Get
right now. for me.
going.
I'll put it away.
Go to the names that sound like the children who play with your children. Go for the books where the children's names seem like your kids' names. Those are the things that they want to read. We heard so many people talking about women being represented. Hey, these voteless, voiceless people need representation too. They need to know there are kids like them out there. Buy those books.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Can you do the honors?
Yeah, and now the winner. My heart bloody breaks, yeah. Everyone's a winner. And okay. Hey, everyone who ever wrote a book. Okay, to all of you. Okay? Thank you. Okay, because if there were not books, if there was not something that I knew I could be reading tomorrow morning, life would be grey, right? And you wrote it, and at the time you wrote it, you sat down and you mined pain. You looked at history. You thought about murder. You thought about so many hundreds of different things, and you kept us all going. And for that, your publishers underpaid you. Look at all of them laughing. While the publishers themselves take home nice fat salaries every month, right? Yeah. Okay? And so everyone who's ever written a book sat in a lonely room, not known whether the next word makes sense, not known whether this story has any meaning or will register with anybody. We are all heroines, all of us. We win because we write. But today there has to be a winner, and the winner is Shabnam Minwala for Murder at Days.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Such power. But I'd like all the ladies to say a word or two. You've had quite a lead up to all of y'all. We would love to hear all the words. Yes. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause. I'll just pass the mic around. A few words would be awesome. No, of course she will speak as well, but all of y'all as well. Like I said, we're so well represented on stage. It's happened for the first time tonight, so you all deserve your place in the sun. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'll just say thank you so much for providing this wonderful forum for women writers, specifically women writers in children's writing. And thank you to the jury and Author Awards for recognizing picture books, which is the foundation for every child's reading.
Congratulations, Shabnam. And it's an honor to be on the shortlist with all of you. And I'd just like to say thank you, Jerry, for saying everything that you said.
He's right there.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Shabnam. I'm just happy that children's writing is getting staged, and also nonfiction writing in children has been even nominated, because that's something that's not even recognized on most forums. So here we are, and we're going to come back, and
Thank you, TOI. Thank you, JK Paper. Many congratulations to you, Shabnam. I love your work. I love the work of all these women who are here. And Jerry said it all, but I want to just say one thing more. Children's writers rock.
Thank you, TOI, my former employers. Thank you, JK Papers. It's wonderful. Thank you, Speaking Tiger. And thank you all my neighbors who gave me inspiration for my twisted murder mystery by doing strange things on staircases. And thank you for a very villainous chairperson, maybe of my building, maybe not, I won't reveal, who was made a beautiful corpse. And so thank you all of you for being here.
Thank you. Do stay on stage because we've got all these lovely bags we'd like to give everybody. So just come. Ladies, if you could just move a little bit closer so that Prasoon sir and Singhania sir could give you all these bags. And like I said, there's an army on stage. We'd love to take a lovely group photograph as well. One nice, lovely group photograph. Ladies, big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. In full attendance on stage. Love it. Thank you, ladies. Gentlemen, one more award with you all. One more award with you all. And yes. And for this next award, we don't have an AV and there are no nominations because this is where we use the online platform to sort of push this across. It is the Popular Choice Awards. It recognizes the most loved story by avid readers. It invited the audience to vote for books by their favorite women authors, books nominated by the authors, their friends, their family. They were all considered for this category. Out of the 500 entries received for this category, the entry that got the most number of votes obviously won the award. And that is in that last final envelope coming to you all. So please bring it across. We just have you read it out, sir.
Please. All right, the Popular Choice Award, and the winner is Ninav Raju Akunuri for a book, Silent Screens.
Congratulations. You can thank all your friends and family who voted for you all. Nice WhatsApp group message should be typed out, sent across. The mic's right behind you. A couple of words there would always help. You can actually keep the award in the chair.
I think I can do that.
Keep it here.
So I'm a little,
Just hold the mic a little higher.
this has caught me a little off guard because I didn't expect something like this to happen. But yeah, I'd like to thank everybody who voted for me. I mean, yeah, I knew that it was a good book. I just did not know that it was loved so much. So yeah, and yeah, I think with every story, you know, all the women, let's go change the world with every story we write. And I'd like to thank, you know, my family and, you know, the love of my life, Dan. Thank you. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's what awards should do. They should create a little flutter. You should not have those words typed out. And that's the beauty of something that is so perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. All right, big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. But we do have one very big award still left. And for that, I'd like to invite back on stage Vinita ma'am. She's going to announce this award, say a few important words. And yeah, I'm going to just leave the stage to her. Vinita ma'am, big round of applause for you. This has turned out wonderfully. All your hard work is sort of there in front of you. Please. Yes. Okay. So we'll mention it. Right.
So this is the Lifetime Achievement Award. And the Lifetime Achievement Award for this year goes to Anita Desai. I'm sure there's nobody here who hasn't heard of Anita Desai. And she's in the US and she couldn't be here to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award, but she has sent us an audio and also we are playing an
Yes, we'll be playing it for you right now.
Right now?
Yes, can we play it?
Can we play
Yes.
this, please?
Anita Desai is one of the most eminent novelists, short story writers, and children's author in and around the world who has received the Sahitya Academy Award for her novel Fire on the Mountain and was conferred with the Guardian Fiction Prize for Children's Literature in 1983. Her notable works, Clear Light of Day, In Custody, and Fasting Feasting were shortlisted for the Booker Prize, for which she won much appreciation. Through her writings, Desai has explored the lives of outsiders within Indian society, also within the West. Her novels and short stories evoke characters, events, and moods with recourse to a rich use of visual imagery and details, which has led to comparisons with the modernist sensibilities of T.S. Eliot, William Faulkner, and Virginia Woolf. Her last book was The Artist of Disappearance, which was published in 2011. Born in Missouri, educated at Delhi University, she now lives in the United States of America, where she is the Emerita John E. Butchert Professor of Writing at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Cambridge.
At this great age at which I have arrived, I did not imagine my books would still be read or remembered. They seem to me to belong to the past, to the India I was born in and lived in. Now the Times of India has chosen to give me this prestigious award. I am both surprised and immensely grateful to them, as well as to my loyal publishers and to readers of the new young generation who have honored my work. If it encourages women writers among them, it will be a matter of great satisfaction for us all and also of pride, as my daughter Kiran's writing has so richly proved to be for me. Thank you all very, very much.
If you could just say a few words, it would be wonderful.
I don't know about the rest of you, but when I first heard this, her voice, when she sent across the audio clip, I had shivers running down my spine just to hear her speaking. So I'll just read out a few words about her. Sahitya Academy awardee and 3 times Booker nominee, Anita Desai is one of the most compelling women writers of the century. Born in 1937 in Missouri as Anita Majumdar, she attended Queen Mary's Higher Secondary School in Delhi and completed BA in English Literature in 1957 from Miranda House. A hobby that began with publishing occasional pieces in college magazines was soon to become her passion and an unparalleled art that the world knows her for. At a time when there were very few women on the writing scene, Anita stormed this bastion, and how? She opened a Pandora's box by writing explicitly about the suppression of women in India in her first novel, Cry the Peacock, and the subsequent Where Shall We Go This Summer? Her iconic work, Bye Bye Blackbird, dealing with the trauma of dislocation and estrangement of exiled Indians facing the melting pot syndrome and culture shock, shook the literary scene. Clear Light of Day, her most autobiographical work, set around the partition of Old Delhi, was a moving coming-of-age work that explored multiple facets of religious, cultural, and linguistic diversities. She has also written several books for children. Her most recent one is The Artist of Disappearance, which was published in 2011. Employing an unconventional narrative mode, she is one of the most powerful imagist novelists. Anita's contribution to Indian literature in English is evident through her writings as she explores the lives of outsiders within Indian society as well as in the West. Her novels revolve around family relationships and contrasts, the crumbling of traditions, anti-Semitism, and most importantly, women's oppression and the quest for a fulfilling identity. Desai's novels and short stories evoke characters, events, and moods with recourse to a rich use of visual imagery and details, which has led to comparisons with the modernistic sensibilities of T.S. Eliot and William Faulkner. Welcoming Anita Desai. And we're very happy, really, I'm feeling emotional just being in a position of announcing the award for Anita Desai. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Rasoon sir, Mr. Singhani, I'd like to call you on stage. And I'd like to call ma'am in the middle, ma'am, so that we can give the award. And to collect the awards, we'd like to call on stage Mansi Subramaniam from Penguin. Can she please come on stage to collect the award on her behalf? Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. This, of course, is the Lifetime Achievement Award. And this one goes to Anita Desai. Can I have the three of you stay on stage, please? Because we're going to do a little group photo. Yes. With all the nominees in this. No, just the three of you to stay on stage. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Do you want to say a few words? No? I can help you take that down just a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. We're going to do a nice group photo before our vote of thanks. Can we have all the awardees and all the nominees on stage? So a nice big group hug. Even though some might have exited the building, but those that are there, can we have a nice big group hug on stage? That's for the picture. Can we have all the awardees and all the nominees on stage for a nice big group photograph? Yes, and the jury as well, if they're still here, all of them. Whoever's here, can we please have you all on stage? We'll do what we haven't done tonight. We'll take a nice big selfie as well. Everybody. Should we be pointing out? No, na? Do we want to start pointing out? Come, everybody. All the nominees, all the winners, the jury members. And can I just have someone from the ground to just take out the two chairs, please, at the back? Just remove the chairs. Anyone? One sec. Yes, thank you. Just remove the chairs and give me that. We'll have to sort of get a little closer and definitely semicircle. This is like one of those family photographs. You all can't stand in one line. Yeah. Some in front, some at the back, like in school, like with height order would help. There's not much else I can say, unfortunately. Just a minute. Okay. I guess over to the photographers for this difficult task. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please do take a seat. Thank you. It ain't over yet. I just want to let you guys know that. So just in case you all are looking to head out, not yet, I would like to call on stage Mr. A.S. Mehta, President of JK Paper, to come and give us the vote of thanks for this incredible evening with so many important people that have done such a wonderful job. Yes, sir, there we are. All yours.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It was a truly inspiring and enriching evening. In fact, the first session, when it was the last physical ceremony or the function we could do, because thereafter there was a lockdown. When we did the second session, In fact, the window was very small, and still that time also we could do that. And this one, in fact, it is the beginning of the true ceremonies in physical mode. I was thinking that, in fact, by God's grace, the God could not annoy the goddesses. And in fact, all the goddesses are here. So thank you very much. My first thank all the writers, all the women authors, because they were truly inspiring, and the work they did, it was amazing. On behalf of the team JK Paper, I would like to thank the chief guest, Prasunji, for your wonderful and insightful the speech, interaction, and also lastly, the song. Thank you very much, sir. All the jury members for their relentless effort in judging. It was truly difficult. As was said, any creative thing, any creative writing, is difficult to judge which one is the best and which one is the winner. So thank you, all the jury members. And Vinita ji, thank you very much. You and your team, it was a daunting task. Thank you very much. And my special thank to Divya, who has already left, but wonderful to be with us. No event could be successful unless we have the wonderful audiences like you. So thank you, all the audiences, for tonight. Last, not the least, the whole team of Times of India and my own team, JK Paper, their hard work, without which this evening would not have been possible. And taking this night as culmination, I was thinking that all the ladies, they have already created a lasting impression in line with the tagline of JK Paper. In fact, we exist to create a lasting impression in the society. And we are going to support all the ladies and all the writers so that whatever unfinished agenda they have in their thinking process, they can create lasting impression, and will help all of them. I hope that, like this third session, we continue to do this and encourage the writers, and maybe the session 4, season 4, we'll see many more writers, many more entries, and good responses. Once again, thank you all the winners, and of course, those who were nominees and those who are not even the nominees. Thank you all of them for writing wonderful things. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite the entire JK Paper team on stage so we can take a nice group photograph. We've not been able to call the entire team on stage, sir. If you could also stay back. We want the whole team on stage. Yes. Everyone on stage so that we can have a nice group photograph. I thought group photographs are a thing that people liked. This is slightly different signals here. Excellent. Gentlemen, Prasun sir, we'd like you back as well once everybody's on. And since we can take the liberty with the younger boys, or some will have to kneel down in front so that the picture looks nice. And the others can just figure out as you go along. Yes. Yes, and of course we got dinner at Rani Bagh. So just letting you all know there's dinner served at Rani Bagh. So immediately after this, gentlemen, yes. That looks more like a group picture. And all smiling faces. It's a great event. Hands up with a V for victory. Let's do the cheesy things. All these cheesy things, excellent. You've got to show everyone that this was a really successful event also later on. These are the memories you want. No glum faces. And I'll give you the count of 3. Okay? आप भी ready रहना वो expression के लिए. Rules, gentlemen, no hands in pockets. On the count of 3, happy, excited faces. All right? My photographer's ready. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Is that it? No victory sign as well? Right. That's the best we can do. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight was a wonderful night. We've got dinner served at Rani Bagh. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you.